Good morning everyone, it's Chandrakala here, and today our first topic is ohmic and non-ohmic resistors. We will start from ohmic and non-ohmic resistors. So the first question is, what is resistors? Yeah. Actually, resistors are the electrical components that implements electric resistance. That means that will control the amount of current and voltage. That means it will divide the voltage according to the requirements and it will adjust the amount of current flowing through the circuit. And we know that same function is performed by resistors. So resistors are actually electrical components which implements electrical resistance, which can control I and V, that is voltage and current through the circuit, as we have used in Ohm's experiment also resistors, okay, which was a nichrome wire. So these are the resistors. Now obviously, as the name denotes, ohmic resistors, that means which obey Ohm's law, which obey Ohm's law. Which obey Ohm's law means the amount of current flowing through the circuit is directly proportional to potential difference applied at its terminals. That means here if V is directly proportional to I, or we can say I is directly proportional to V. So the first thing is it obey Ohm's law, that is amount of current flowing is directly proportional to applied potential difference. And the next thing is VI graph is a straight line. This we have already studied. VI graph is a straight line which passes through origin. Passes through origin. So these are the ohmic resistors, and VI, the value of V and I, that is V upon I, that is resistance, remains constant for a particular conductor. That means in experiment also we have seen that every time in every observation the value of resistance is almost constant, and to make it more accurate we have taken its average. So here, whether if we will change the value of one of these components, then automatically with the same amount the value of another will change, and after all the value of resistance will remain constant. In the case of ohmic resistors, examples, all our metallic conductors which we are using, and electrolytic, the condition is at constant temperature. Examples, conductors, but at constant temperature, because in Ohm's law we have already discussed that Ohm's law is valid only if temperature of the conductor remains constant. As the temperature will vary, then the value of current flowing or the voltage across its terminal will also change. And the next topic is non-ohmic resistors. Non-ohmic resistors, as the name indicates, it does not obey Ohm's law. Does not obey Ohm's law. That means the VI graph is not a straight line, but it will be a curved line. That means VI graph is not a straight line, but it can be curved. And next thing, it will not pass through origin. It will not pass through origin. Through origin. And then some examples are there. Value of V and I is equal to R. It will give you resistance, but it is always not constant. That means for a particular voltage and current, we will get a particular resistance. At some another point, when we will find the slope of VI graph, then we will get somewhat variation in the value of the resistance. That means resistance is actually not constant. Okay, we can obtain resistance at a particular point, but as soon as that point will change, then the slope will change, and hence the resistance of the circuit will also change. That's why, because it is variable, changeable, so it is also known as dynamic resistance or dynamic resistors, as you wish. Here this word dynamic is very important, because in question, if it is mentioned by ohmic and non-ohmic resistors, then it is well understood obviously from name itself. So most of the time it is asked with the name dynamic resistance or dynamic resistors. What do you mean by dynamic resistance? So if the question is about dynamic, that means he is talking only about non-ohmic resistors, and some examples are given here. In example, the first thing is LED, that we already know. It is light emitting diode. Full form once we have to write. Light emitting diode, and we know that at home also we use LED because it consumes less energy, and it has a longer life, and it is actually fast switching also. So it is used at our home for general lighting. It is also used in traffic signals and camera flashes, etc. We know about LED. So in LED, dynamic or non-ohmic resistors are used. And the second example given is junction diode. Here two words are there. One is junction and second one is diode. So first of all, we need to know about diode. Actually, in simple words, if we will talk, it acts as a switch. Diode is made up of semiconductors. Later, in the electronic branch of physics, we will read a lot of application of semiconductors, and one of them will be diode. So here diode is actually used as a switch which allow the flow of current in one direction, and which completely resist the flow of current in opposite direction. That means it restrict the flow of current in opposite direction. Allow flow of current in one direction and restrict flow of current in opposite direction. And junction we know that when two or more things are joined at a particular point, that is known as junction. That means when two or more semiconducting wires or diodes will be added or connected at one particular place, that will be junction diode. Okay, next thing is it is used in solar cells and rectifiers. That means junction diode. Actually, diodes can be used in radio broadcasting. In earlier time it was used, and now it is used in microwaves and radars. First we will write about diodes itself. It is specially used in radars and microwave or oven. And now we will talk about junction diode. So that means when two or more diodes are connected at a particular place, then that is known as junction diode, and it is used in junction diode. It is used in solar cells and rectifiers. About rectifiers you will study in higher classes. That means if both the components of the current are mixed with each other, that means we know that current is of two types, DC and AC. So sometimes we need to make the flow of one particular type of current only. That means for some appliances we need current only in AC. That means alternating current. So if there is any component or any amount of DC current is mixed in it, then we will have to stop that DC and we want only AC, like that. So on that principle the rectifier works, that we will see later in higher classes. And the next example given is transistor. Okay, so next example is about transistors, and it is mainly used in electronic devices. We have studied about computer. So in computer the vacuum tubes were used. and instead of those vacuum tubes, later transistors were implemented. That means actually these are same as vacuum tubes, and they control the amount of current. Tubes which control the amount of current, that means they act as conductor or insulator, obviously, because either they will allow the flow of current or they will stop the flow of current. So these are the insulators, and they are made up of semiconductors. That means they are actually semi-conducting devices which are used to control the current flowing through the electric devices, or in simple words we can tell that since it controls the amount of current, so it also acts as a switch, and specially used in amplifiers. One more thing is it converts audio sound into electrical, your audio waves into electronic or electrical waves. Okay, that's why it is also used in audio, video, CCTVs. So these are the transistors. That means most of the things which act as a switch, they make the use of non-ohmic resistors. Our next topic is factors affecting resistance of a conductor. That means the factors which will affect or which will change the resistance of a conductor. So first of all, the first factor is material. That means we have already discussed that different materials will have different number of free electrons or different concentration of free electrons, and obviously we know that those. So we were discussing that different materials have different concentration of free electrons, and obviously those materials which will have more free electrons, they will have less resistance. That means they will have less resistance because they will have high amount of current. That's why it, first of all, it depends upon material. Different materials will have different amount of resistance. We know that in the case of conductors will have more number of free electrons, so less resistance. And in the case of insulators, they will have less number of free electrons, so their resistance will be high. Next dependence is length of the conductor. Length of conductor. That means if the wire of the conducting wire, or if the wire will be lengthy, that means the electrons will have to cover more distance. That means if the electrons have to move from this end to this end, then they will have to cover more distance as compared to a smaller wire. They will have to cover a longer distance. That means the number of collisions with positive ions will be more, because there are more number of positive ions. So when one electron will start from one end and it will reach to another end, on the way the number of collisions will be more, because since the length is more, the number of positively charged ions will be more. Whereas in the case of a small length wire, the electrons will have to cover less distance, so there will be less number of collisions. That means resistance is directly proportional to length. If length of the wire will be more, then the resistance offered by that particular wire will be more. And next thing is, third one is thickness. Thickness of wire. We know that thickness means here cross section area. That means we know that if we will have a thick wire, then the electrons will get more space to move from one point to another. Whereas if the thickness of a wire will be less, then the electrons will get less space and it will be difficult for electrons to move from one terminal to another terminal. So in this case the resistance will be more because the collisions will be more. Whereas in this case the resistance of that particular wire will be less, and here the resistance will be more. That means obviously it inversely proportional on cross section area. Here area means cross section area. That means while solving the numerical questions, we have to take care whether the length is increasing And what about the radius? Radius means if the cross section area will increase, because here area, cross section area will be pi r square. So if the radius of the wire will increase, then its thickness will increase and electrons can easily move from one end to another end, which will reduce the value of resistance and which will increase the value of current flowing through the circuit. So we have to read question carefully, whether only length is increasing and its cross-section area remains constant, or both is increasing. Accordingly, we will solve the numerical questions. We will solve 1 or 2 questions, then it will become more clear. And the next factor is fourth one, that is the temperature. This we have already discussed, that resistance of a conductor remains constant at constant temperature only. As soon as the temperature will change, then the resistance will also change. The reason is, when temperature will increase, then kinetic energy of electrons will increase. Obviously enough, that means when we will give some amount of heat to the electrons, that means we are having some free electrons. If these electrons will be given some amount of heat, that means if we will increase its temperature, that will increase its kinetic energy, and the kinetic energy will increase its random motion, or in other words we can say its speed. Random motion or speed. Here actually these two words are not exactly same, because basically with increase in the speed, current increases and resistance decreases, but they are random motion. Random means if they will have more amount of kinetic energy, they will have a very high amount of kinetic energy, then while moving they will collide with these positively charged ions more, as well as they can collide with each other also. So here when the kinetic energy will increase, then the random motion will increase, which will actually increase the number of collisions. And when the number of collisions will increase, then obviously the resistance will increase. That means actually resistance is directly proportional to temperature. When the temperature will increase, then the resistance of the wire will also increase. That means if a graph is given for two temperatures between voltage and current I, for two temperatures T1 and T2. So if T1 will be greater than T2, then obviously the R1 will be greater than R2. That means the resistance of this wire will be more than the resistance of this wire. This is in the case of conductors. We are talking only about conductor. Our heading itself is factors affecting the resistance of a conductor. So that means basically the resistance depends on four things. First thing, material. Different materials will have different resistance. Second thing, length of the conductor. If length of the wire will be more, then the number of collisions will be more, and hence the resistance will be more. Third is thickness of conductor. When thickness of conductor increases, then its radius increases. Because of that, electrons can easily move from one terminal to another. They will get enough space. So the resistance is inversely proportional to thickness or cross-section area or radius of the wire. Fourth one is temperature. With increase in the temperature, kinetic energy increases, which increase the number of collisions and hence the amount of resistance. That means resistance is directly proportional to temperature. Resistance is constant only at constant temperature. Now our next topic is specific resistance or resistivity. A little we have already discussed about it, resistivity, and we had denoted it by rho. So about same resistivity we are going to study now, and it is also known as a specific resistance. Specific means specific or unique for a particular material. That means for a particular material it is constant. It is the characteristic property of the material. Material means the metal which you are using for conduction. As soon as you will change the material, then the resistivity will change, and hence the resistance will also change. Right now we have seen that resistance is directly proportional to length and resistance is inversely proportional to area. Therefore, we can say that resistance is directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to area. When we will remove this proportionality symbol, then there comes a constant rho L upon A. So this is the formula to calculate resistance, where rho is resistivity and it is constant for a particular material because it is characteristic property of the material. As soon as you will change the value of material, as soon as you will change the conducting wire, its resistivity will definitely change, and hence the resistance will also change. That's why when we studied the factors affecting the resistance, the first point was material itself, because as soon as the material will change or the conducting wire will change, then this resistivity will change, and hence the resistance will also change. Along with that, if the length of the wire will change, or if the cross section area will change, or if the temperature will change, then the resistance of the wire will change. But right now here we are studying about resistivity, not about resistance. So from here we can say that resistivity rho is equal to Ra upon L. From here we have good formula for the resistivity, and if we will define the resistivity for a unit resistance or for unit resistivity, then obviously the L should be 1. That means if we will take it in the SI unit, it should be 1 meter, and area should be 1 meter square. So if L is equal to 1 and A is equal to 1, then R will be equal to rho, or we can say rho will be equal to R. That means from the definition we can say that specific resistance or resistivity is the resistance of wire, of that material. That means a particular material only we are talking, otherwise it will change. Material of unit length and unit area of cross section. That means if we will take length as unit and if we will take unit as a cross section area, then the resistivity of that particular material or specific resistance will become equal to resistance of the wire. Now if we will talk about SI unit of resistivity, from formula right now we have calculated that rho is equal to Ra upon L. So for this resistance, what is the unit of resistance? It is ohm. And for area, the unit is meter square. And for length, the unit is meter. So 1 meter will cancel out this, and hence the SI unit of resistivity will be ohm meter. Ohm into meter. This is the SI unit of resistance. Rest of the things we will see in next class. Thank you.